Hello, I'm Eva and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the 26 books I want to read in 2026. I am filming this on January 5th and I've actually already finished one of the books on this list, but I wrote this list up at the end of December. I'm still going to include that book in this list. First, let's start with new releases coming this year. I think I wrote this in order of when they come out. So the first book I have on this list is Love Song by Elle Kennedy. If you don't know, Elle Kennedy also wrote the Off Campus series, and this book is a second generation book of the first and the second couple's children's romance. So the first book in the Off Campus series, we have Hannah and Garrett, and the second book in the Off Campus series, our main couple is Grace and Logan. So this is Grace and Logan's daughter and Hannah and Garrett's son. So they've known each other their whole lives, and I believe in one of the past books we had another one where it was Hannah and Garrett's daughter. I believe in that one or one of the other ones in that series, the girl Blake, she said she had a crush on Hannah and Garrett's son Wyatt and always thought he was cute. It's called Love Song because he is a musician, as was Hannah in the first book in the Off Campus series, The Deal. I'm so excited for this one. I was hoping that when she announced that there was going to be a book for Blake, that he was going to be the love interest, and I got my wish. I'm so excited for that. I just know it's going to be so good, and I cannot wait to see Logan's reaction to Garrett's son dating his daughter. I just feel like it's going to be so good. The second book I have is Ruin Me by Kelsey Ray. I have read all of the Don't Let Me and the Little Things series by her, and I really enjoyed both of those series, and this will be the start of a new series that's still kind of in that world, but not as closely together with those characters, because the Don't Let Me series is first generation, then it's Their Kids is the Little Things series. So this has nothing to do with them, but it's still in their world. And all I know is she posted today, like not long before I'm filming this, the first trope of that book is going to be love to hate. Otherwise, I don't really know what this book's about. Just that we kind of briefly met some of the characters in the last couple books in the Little Things series. The third book I have on this list is Fever Dream by Elsie Silver. This is the start of a new series for her as well. Wow, all the first three are the first books in new series by these authors. So Fever Dream is the first book in a new series. I believe the series is going to be in Emerald Lakes because each series is set in a specific town. And I believe this one is Emerald Lakes. If you've heard of Elsie Silver before, her most known series is the Chestnut Spring series. And in the fourth book, we have a character named Theo, and it's his sister is the main character in this book. I believe our main male character is Theo's rival because Theo is a bull rider, and I think it's his rival and his sister. So I'm really excited to see Theo again. He was one of my favorite characters in the whole Elsie Silver universe, honestly. I loved him and I really hope we get to see him again. And you just know there's gonna be like the tension between those two because she shouldn't want that guy because it's Theo's rival. I just think it's gonna be so good. Number 4, we have Thornbird by E. Kennedy, which is Elle Kennedy's other pen name. And I believe this is her first thriller mystery book. Besides that, I genuinely don't know anything about it. If I get more information before I post this, I will like hop in and tell you. All I know is it's a mystery thriller. I believe Elle Kennedy's first one. Again, she's writing under the name E. Kennedy though. And I'm so excited because again, I love Elle Kennedy's books. Well, I love some of her books, but I'm really intrigued to see how she writes a mystery thriller book. Next, I have Adversary to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Marer. This will be the 4th book in the Assistant to the Villain series. I originally thought this series was only supposed to have 4 books, but then I saw that it's gonna have 5 or 6, and I was kind of like, I don't know, we'll see how I feel. I loved the first book, the second book was meh, and I loved the third book, so hopefully this book stays in line with the first and third book and not the second book. The second book was really boring in my opinion. I love the characters in this universe, and I cannot wait to see what happens in this one though, because the third one left us on a little bit of a cliffhanger, and I just cannot wait to see what happens. For the last book in our new releases section, I have Grim Tidings by B.K. Borison. This is going to be the second book to Good Spirits. I read Good Spirits last month and absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite books of the year. I loved the characters. I loved the premise. It's a little bit like, not paranormal, I guess you should say. That one was based on A Christmas Carol. He was the ghost of Christmas past and he was coming to help her, but then everything was weird because she didn't seem like one of the normal people he would help. That book was so good. I cannot wait to see what the second book holds. All I know is that I think our main male character is a reaper, a grim reaper, and our female main character is like an angel. I don't know if she's actually an angel or just something angel-esque. And I think another trope was grumpy. I'm excited to see how that turns out. I really loved the first one, so high expectations for this one. As I said in the beginning, I've already finished one of the books on this list. I made this list at the end of December and I'm filming this January 5th. So I already have read one book this year and it was on this list, and that is The Knight and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. 5 stars. This was so good. I gave both the books in the Shepherd King duology 5 stars. This one was also 5 stars. It was so good. It had me by chapter 2. I thought the premise was so interesting. We have our main character, Six, aka you find out her other name, and she's in a group of these people called diviners. They were chosen to become diviners, which these people are very highly regarded. Essentially, they get put in the spring and put underwater to drown, and as they're drowning, they go into these other worlds and bring omens and like determine your fate. So every like set of omens, there's 5 sets of things they can see that helps them predict the outcome of someone's future, and they just see good and bad signs. They don't actually see that person's future, and people come from all over to get their destiny foretold. Again, these diviners, there's 6 of them. They are all very highly regarded because of the special gift. Again, there's only 6 of them, and every 10 years they get a new group.
And the diviners we're following are almost done with their 10-year service.
So the beginning of this book, we have the new king. They call him the boy king because he's only 17. He comes to get his divination done. That's what they call it. They don't love the drowning part, obviously. So our main girl, Six, she pulls the short straw and does the divination for the king. And he gets all bad signs. And while they're there, the king and his knights are staying there after his divination because, I mean, it was a long travel to get there. She is coming back after she had awoken from the drowning and sees the king and his knights and knows like they're up to something different, and the king doesn't seem that sad that he got all bad omens. And then later on, the diviners one by one start going missing until it's just 6 left. And all of a sudden, the one knight who she's kind of had a little tiff with comes along and scoops her from the place she's staying. He takes her away, and the woman who runs the diviners, the abbess, she tries to stop her from leaving, and you find out all that the diviner, Six, has known has all been a lie.
That her, the knight, another knight, and the king all go on this mission to find all the items that represent the omens, and that's kind of the rest of the book. I completely forgot to mention that part.
It was so good. The ending, I cannot wait to read the second book to this. That book's not on this list because, again, I hadn't even read this one yet, but this book was so good. I have loved all of Rachel Gillig's books, and if you have not read any book by Rachel Gillig, you need to. They are so good. Anyways, now that I've yapped a little bit about that book, let's move on. I'm currently reading a book from this list as well, and that is Huckleberry Hill by Emma Slate. This is the first book in a new series called Saddle and Spurs. I have not read any books by Emma Slate before. I saw this book on Instagram, the author promoting it before it even came out, and I don't even remember what I saw about it. But when I saw it, I knew I needed to read it. This book follows Hadley and Declan. Hadley has lived in New York with her sister Salem for 2 years now, and she is coming back home to Idaho to the ranch she grew up on after her fiance breaks up with her because she found out she was infertile. What she doesn't expect to come home to is to find her family's new wrangler in the guest house. So she comes home really late the night she runs back home and decides to stay in the guest house as to not wake her dad and grandmother who live in the main house. And when she arrives there to the guest house, the bear is outside the guest house and she's trying to rush in. And when she's trying to rush in, a guy opens the door, grabs her in, and slams it shut. That guy happens to be the ranch's new wrangler, Declan, and immediately she's like, "Ooh, he's hot." And then he says she should stay the night. She was like, "I didn't know there was anybody in here. Why are you here?" And he's like, "I'm the wrangler for the ranch." And she's like, "Oh, I'm his daughter." He's like, "Oh, he didn't say anybody was coming," and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, "Yeah, I didn't tell anyone." He's staying in the guest house, and for that night, he lets her take the bed, and they've just been like flirting back and forth all that I've read so far. I'm just over 100 pages in, and she has been broken up with her fiance for like 2 weeks at this point. Her sister, her twin sister, and her friends are all telling her she needs to sleep with Declan because, first of all, they have like flirty chemistry. Secondly, apparently he's her type, so I'm guessing it's going to start with a hookup and then they're going to like develop a relationship. Okay, now I'm just going to go down the list that I have here. So the next book I have is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. I love Stephanie Garber's other two series. They are both YA fantasy, but this is her first soiree into adult fantasy. So I'm really intrigued to see if I'm going to like it more or like it less, not like her writing for this for adult. This man called the Watchman tells her she has to find this alchemical heart. That word is really hard to say, by the way. I was talking about this book in another video and I struggled to say that word so bad. This man tells her that by midnight tomorrow she will die unless she finds this alchemical heart. And the clock is ticking for her to find this magical object. And as she's finding it, she's getting deeper and deeper into this magical world that's in Los Angeles, and also has a friend coming along that was sent by her sister, he says, but she doesn't know if she should trust him. So we have that definitely a little romance going on between them, and then her mission to find this heart. Next we got a little romance book, another B.K. Borson book, and that is First Time Caller. Again, I loved Good Spirits and I'm really excited to get into this. I've said this before in many videos, I'm from Maryland and I love that B.K. Borson's books are set in Maryland. It always feels like a little shout out to get like places I'm around talked about in a book. I know this one's set in Baltimore, Maryland, and they meet on a radio show. I believe he runs a romance hotline. Though he runs this romance hotline, he has fallen out of love with love, so that's a bit of a complication for his job since, again, he runs the romance hotline. And she calls, and I think she talks about her love life or something, and then people start judging her, and then I think she comes on as his co-host. Again, as I haven't read these books, it's kind of hard to give a full little description to you. I'm trying to make these descriptions quick as to not have this video be 5,000 years long. My list is all over the place because next we have Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. I said this in my book haul, my Christmas book haul video. I've read The Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and Heir of Fire, but the last time I read this series was 2022-2023, I believe. Well, I guess the current storyline. The last book I read was Heir of Fire in 2022, and then I read The Assassin's Blade 2023. We're going into 2025. I actually originally read Throne of Glass in 2021, so I've taken my sweet time with this series, and I decided I'm going to reread those books and then get back into the series. So right now, I have currently started The Assassin's Blade, and I'm like a quarter of the way through it, and then I will get to this one. Back to romance. I got another romance book that is Soul Searching by Lila Sage. This one gives a little bit like darker vibes than Lila Sage's other books. If you don't know, she wrote the Rebel Blue Ranch series. They're all cutesy cowboy romances, and while I believe this one still might be like a little cowboy, I'm not exactly sure. All I know is this one also has a little bit of ghosty elements to it because the top says home is where the heart is, and this one is haunted. I don't really know much about this, and I kind of want to go in blind, so I'm not going to read the back as much. Next book I have is Mile High by Liz Tomforty. I am so excited to get into the series. Everybody talks so highly about the series except this book. I've seen so many mixed reviews on this book, but the rest of the series everybody loves, and I cannot wait to get into it. I just know I'm going to love it as well. I really want to read this month, and I know this one is hockey. I don't know if they're all hockey or just this one is hockey, or how it's all interconnected, or if it's interconnected at all. I'm pretty sure they're all sports romances though. And this one follows Xanders, who's a hockey player and also a player in the romance area, and Stevie, is that her name, Stevie? And she is the flight attendant for the NHL team, or at least that player. I don't really know the logistics, and I think he kind of has like a little issue with her, but kind of has a goal to like make her life a little miserable, but she is not backing down from her job. That's all I really know. And I think she's going to break down his player. She's going to make him a reformed player. I kind of love that trope. I hate it, but I love it at the same time. I've seen mixed reviews, but I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna like it. Okay, the next book, this will be the second year it'll be on one of my reading lists. This was on my 25 for 2025, and now it's on 26 in 2026. And that is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have read all of her famous people books, try more of her books, and this one is more romancy, while those ones were more historical fiction. I believe this one is about a girl, her name's Emma, I just looked at the back. She is married or engaged to some guy, and then he disappears. Okay, it's their first wedding anniversary. So then after he dies, she moves home and then runs into an old friend and falls in love with that friend. But then the husband makes a resurgence, and now she has to pick between the two. I really need to read this because that sounds so intriguing. I've had this on my TBR for a really long time. This is one of the books that I've owned the longest, and I still haven't read it. There's another book I've had on my TBR for quite a long time, and that is Reputation by Lex Croucher. I believe this is set around the Regency era, and we have our main character, Georgiana, and she is spending the summer at her aunt and uncle's, and she meets this girl who brings her into her group, and she finds out all the fun ways to live in society by, let's see, what did it say? Drunken debauchery and lavish parties. At these parties, she meets a straight-laced, like, I guess, I don't want to say bland, but maybe bland man named Thomas. And then this is the bottom part. Set in a time when one's reputation was everything, this hilarious debut explores sex, belonging, and status through the eyes of an unforgettable heroine whom Jane Austen herself would have cheered for. Again, I've owned this one for a while. I just have to pick it up. Next, I have Dishonestly Yours by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I love the Addicted/Calloway Sisters series. So not long after I read that series, this book came out, and I bought it, and I was like, I need to read this. I don't really know that much about this book. I believe they've known each other their entire lives. Let's see. I saw also like a post pop up from these authors on my Instagram today, and it was like a snippet of each couple. And I believe it said something about like he's protecting her. Like, I don't know if he's her bodyguard or something. All I know is best friend's older brother. I don't know if he's also like protective of her, because I saw something about that on the Instagram. I don't know. Then we have Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Look at the sprayed edges. And this one, it looks cool because it looks like water. Anyways, we have Deep End next. I have seen so many mixed reviews on this. Like, some people have hated it and some people have loved it. I've heard that it's said to be really smutty and kinky, but then some other people have said it's not smutty and kinky at all. It's just like lightly brushed about and then not really talked about more. And I think that's where the mixed reviews come in.
The reason I brought up the smutty and kinkiness of the book is because it was promoted to be pretty smutty, and I think some people were just underwhelmed.
Either way, all I know is they are both swimmers, and their names are Scarlett and Lucas. And then they start arrangement where they can like hook up with each other, because I don't think they like each other. Yep, it says it was supposed to be just a temporary fling, mutually satisfying. But when staying away from Lucas becomes impossible, Scarlett realizes that her heart might be treading in dangerous water. Yep. I am really excited for this. I know I've seen mixed reviews, but I feel like I'm going to like it. I'm really excited for that one though. I kind of have high hopes for that one. And we have another Ali Hazelwood book, and this is Check and Mate. This is a YA romance, which I don't think she has written before or again since this book. Obviously, you can tell it's a chess romance. I believe they're like professional chess players, if that's a thing. Mallory Greenleaf is done with chess. Every move counts nowadays. After the sport led to the destruction of her family 4 years earlier, Mallory's focus is on her mom, her sisters, and the dead-end job that keeps the lights on. That is, until she begrudgingly agrees to play in one last charity tournament and it inadvertently wipes the board with notorious king killer Nolan Sawyer, current world champion and reigning bad boy of chess. Reigning bad boy of chess. I'm sorry, that gets me a little bit. Bad boy and chess just like doesn't like commute in my head, but it's okay. So it seems like they're gonna have like a little bit of a rivals romance maybe. I'm excited to get into this. I think that sounds cute, especially because I've said this before, it's gotten better. I haven't always loved the way Ali Hazelwood writes spice. I feel like she writes it so like, oh my god, he just touches me and that's like it. Like he could like brush his fingers against her arm. The person's done for. Next, I have Anatomy by Dana Schwartz. I got convinced to read this because people said it's kind of like the Stalking the Jack the Ripper series. I am so confused on what genre this book falls under, because it says a love story, so you'd think of romance. When I went to talk about this in another video, I looked up the genre, and one place it said mystery, another place it said historical fiction fantasy. So I don't know. But again, I think it's kind of like Stalking Jack the Ripper, where she goes to like some class. And if you don't know, Stalking Jack the Ripper is set in the 1800s. And I believe this is somewhere in that time as well. Let's see if it says the exact year. No, I don't believe it does. But I believe it's similar to that in that she tries to go to some class. She tries to go to a surgeon's class, and at that time, women were like not supposed to work and not supposed to basically do anything. So he kicks her out of that class. I'm reading the inside now. She makes a deal with the man who runs the class. If she can pass the medical exam on her own, he will allow her to continue her medical career. Without official lessons, though, Hazel will need more than her books. She'll need corpses to study. So yes, it sounds like she does the same similar thing as Audrey Rose in Stalking Jack the Ripper. Jack has his own problems, strange men skulking around cemeteries, his friends are disappearing off the streets. Nobody important cares until Hazel. Now Hazel and Jack must work together to uncover the secrets buried not just in unmarked graves, but in the very heart of Edinburgh society. That makes me really want to read. Do you ever have a book on your TBR and you don't think about the book and then you pick it up and read the description and you're like, oh my god, that sounds so good, I need to read that. And then you just put it back on your TBR? Because I've done that with this book so many times. I need to read this. That sounds so good. We have Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy. I just realized I have 3 books by her on this list, except the one is just like her pen name. I don't really know much about this book. I just know that it's Elle Kennedy and I wanted to read it because it was Elle Kennedy. Okay, so this says that she goes to London to study abroad, and when she goes to her flat to see her roommates, they all end up being boys. So they are off limits because there is a rule that you can't fraternize with your housemates after some drama went on before. Now Abby's not really a rule breaker, but her situation with these boys is making her contemplate if she should. Oh my god, I wonder if it's gonna be like a multiple people one, because it's for not 1 but 2 men she can't have. Her rugby player roommate and a broody musician with a girlfriend. Is this gonna be a throuple situation, or is she gonna have to pick? Hopefully not the guy with the girlfriend. Hopefully the rugby one. I haven't even read it and I'm already picking. Next I have You with a View by Jessica Joyce. I read The X-Files a couple months ago and I loved it. I also read this little novella by her earlier last year and that was okay. I mean, I don't even think it was 100 pages and it was just very smutty. It was just okay. But The X-Files was so good and has made me really excited for this book. I think this sounds interesting. Noelle Shepherd is unemployed, living with her parents and grieving the loss of her beloved grandmother when she discovers decades-old photos of Graham and a smitten man tucked alongside a love letter. She creates a TikTok to search for the mystery man, which goes viral, and she's shocked when his grandson responds, a man who happens to be her high school nemesis, Theo Spencer. Noelle refuses to let Theo's annoying accomplishments in adulthood or his sexy smirk stand in the way of meeting his grandfather and unlocking the secrets he knew about her Graham as a young woman. When she learns that their plans to elope were thwarted, Noelle decides to take the honeymoon trip they planned but never got to carry out. There's a catch though. Paul, Theo's grandfather, asks to come with her and he insists that Theo join them. What a little matchmaker. That sounds so intriguing. I cannot wait. I feel like I've said that for every book. That's why I put them on the list. Okay. Next, another book I've had on my TBR for quite some time is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. Even though I've had it for a while, I kind of forget everything about it. I know she's chronically ill. I don't know if it says what she has. After Chloe almost died, she makes this bucket list of things she needs to do to push herself. So then I believe this guy, his name is Red, he is going to help her with this list. I love a good bucket list romance. Okay, this is just, that has convinced me to want to read this more. I've seen this book around a lot and have only seen good reviews on it. And the series as a whole, this is the first book in the Brown Sisters series. I need to get to this. I've had it for a while. Okay, I think that's all for the books I physically own. Now we can move into books I don't physically own and I'm gonna read on my Kindle. Actually, just kidding. The first one I'm not reading on my Kindle because it's not on Kindle Unlimited, and that is Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. We've talked about the Stalking the Jack the Ripper series in this video, but she also has this other series called Kingdom of the Wicked. I didn't love that series. It was just okay. The first book was good. The second book was meh. And then the third book started good and then kind of ended meh. But I'm intrigued to read the other books in the series. If you don't know, Kingdom of the Wicked follows Amelia and then her love interest is Wrath, aka one of the 7 deadly sins. And we get to meet his brothers throughout the book, aka Envy, Sloth, blah, 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 blah. Then this series, Throne of the Fallen, will follow those brothers. So I believe the first one is following Envy. I'm really intrigued about the brothers, so hopefully the series is better than the Kingdom of the Wicked series for me. Now on to books that I will read on my Kindle. First, this book I also had on last year's books I wanted to read, the 25 for 2025, but I never read it, so it ended up on 26 for 2026. And that is King of Envy by Anna Huang. At the beginning of the year, last year, I had caught up on all her books, the If Love series, the Twisted series, and the Kings of Sin series. I finished off the If Love series, and I don't know, sometimes I click with her books and sometimes I don't. I really loved the Twisted series, and the Kings of Sin series has been good. So I've been a little bit iffy on reading this one. Also, I feel like her books are getting longer and longer, and not like for a good reason in my opinion, like kind of just like they're longer to be longer. And I also put The Defender, which is the second book in her Gods of Game series, on my list last year. Also didn't read that, but I didn't put that on this list. I didn't really love The Striker. It was just okay. I gave it like 3 stars. I still want to continue the Kings of Sin series. I still want to read all her books, at least at this moment in time, but I kind of was putting off reading King of Envy last year. I don't really know why. I have mostly seen people say they think that's her best book, so I really do need to get to it. We'll see though. Okay, next I have another book that was on my 25 to read in 2025 last year that I didn't end up reading, and that is Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. I read her one series called Queen's Cove before this series, the Behind the Net series, got popular. Did I start the Stephanie Archer wave, or did I? No, I'm just kidding. I don't actually know. But I read the series called the Queen's Cove series, and I really liked that series. I especially liked the 4th book. The 4th book was really good. That one's called Finwards Forever. And then I swear, like right after I read that, everybody started talking about the Behind the Net series by Stephanie Archer. And I was like, ooh, I already know I liked Stephanie Archer from reading the Queen's Cove series. And not only that, this is a hockey romance series. Sign me up. But I still haven't read it. I don't really know why. I just keep not reading it. But I feel like once I read it, I'm going to love it. And I believe she's about to come out with a 5th book in that series. So I really need to get to it. Hopefully I didn't skip over any, but I believe this is the last one, and that is Indigo Ridge by Devney Perry. All I really know about the series is 1, it's in a small town. 2, I believe we're following a group of siblings. I don't know if they're brothers, I don't know if we have brothers and sisters or what, but the series is called The Edens. I also know is that this one also has like a mystery aspect to it, and I find that really fun in books. I need to read more that have a mystery aspect with it, because it's more romance with a little bit of mystery. I do love mystery with a little bit of romance. Anyways, it's actually a while later because my mom came home and I didn't want her to hear me. I finished talking about all the books though, which kind of came at a good time. That's the end of the video. If you've read any of these books, tell me what you thought of them. Also, what books are you looking forward to read this year? If you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And I hope to see you in the next video.